Hi there, welcome you from my heart to yours. Very warmly and sunny way. I am not anymore nervous because I just did a Polish version of this movie and I was talking about how you work with yourself when you are slightly nervous, how you slow down your breath. And part of the technique comes from the practice of Dr. Joe Dispenza when you breathe from the bottom of your spine, but some of it comes from other techniques. I will just tell you one thing, so breathe with me. You breathe in from the bottom of your spine. You lead the energy, the breath, hold it for a while on the top of your head. And when you breathe out, this is another technique, you breathe out saying speechless ha, like and you imagining the fountain of light, sparkling energy surrounding yourself as an umbrella of light. So let's do that together. Anytime you're nervous, you can try this for 3 minutes and you tell me what was the difference. So breathe in, bottom of your spine. And breathe out. Imagining umbrella of light all around you. You can try this several times, and I was nervous because I am not exactly the person that would like to touch the social political issues, and since we're living in the world we are living in, everything is oneness, everything is connected. I would like to share something with you, but I also would like to recommend you someone who's talking about it in a very beautiful way, I think. And this person is John Perkins. I came across his books a long time ago. His best-selling book was Economic Hitman, and he very precisely talks about something that everybody knows already, and some people still take it as a conspiracy and are not quite yet there, but I don't think it's anything conspiracy about it. About the debt, how the countries are in debt, how they are manipulated into being in debt, how their natural resources are drained, and everything is for the purpose of getting benefit and money, and who's standing behind that. And these are not politicians, although it seems so, but he calls it as corporations. I don't know exactly the wording, I forgot, probably I have to still go back to it, but if you Google him, you find a lot of information. And this person was working as such person who was convincing those presidents. And I still remember his words in his interview when he was saying how such people like him were coming to the table right after a president was chosen, and he was saying, Mr. President, now you have to do this and this because you do this if your family is important to you, and such things. Later on, he left that world and he started to take care of Amazonia forest, and I really loved his books from that time. I especially remember Psycho-Navigation, about learning about inner compass for yourself, and this was designed for the ship, so without a compass these people were able to navigate through the waters, amazing as it is. And most of his decision, he said, he's started to learn to take an intuitive decisions like that. I really recommend this person if you have a chance to look at it more, because he's talking about precisely, I am not the right person, I would not like to be, but since it's happening what it's happening, I would like to. I have a special request for you, and I know that it's hard in this world to apply the best solutions, because I sometimes have a feeling like indeed we are living in a matrix and we are like a battery or a bulb of light, and we are, you know, screwed, and the only way to unscrew us is where our, you know, lifespan of shining will end. That's the feeling sometimes I get, or I dream about it. And according to my dreams from years ago, I had this very nasty dream that eventually we're going to have attacks the oxygen will be taxated. So I hope it's not going to come to this, but since this is a very important subject, and many people already wrote me about it and shared their stories, and it's heart touching, especially the one that, imagine this, a lady, she had a tree. She lives in the normal building, but on the third, fourth floor, and there was this tree close to the street, and the tree was almost like entering her window every day, and all of a sudden she wakes up one day, like they have this connection for years, almost feeling like they are talking, they're communicating. There is the support of the nature. And I know some of you may laugh at this point, because you may not believe that you can communicate with trees or animals or the stones kingdom, and the tree is gone. It's cut out because someone didn't like it, and he went to the office and they just cut it out. For me, it's very, very sad story, because the tree grows very long time. It gives you a certain amount of oxygen. I forgot how many people can benefit from that one tree only. And I personally will sign every petition that is out there that will save the forest. I know people that will come 5 hours by train with little baby to stand and not allow with other people to cut out a certain forest, and I admire that. I will really try to help as much as I can. So if you are out there and you care, you have a petition, you know the people, you know about something, someone needs help, share, and I hope we all can support each other. So we have forests. That's the first thing. We need forests, we need oxygen. And I could probably go on with that particular topic. I also heard every time, by every Christmas, where the trees are cut out for the Christmas tree, my heart hurts. And I know it sounds maybe naive and insane for some of you, and some people are trying to explain me that, oh yeah, it's a specific plantation for that, it's normal. But come on, the soil gets exploited, right? And we need time for it to grow, right? So you're not going to convince me about Christmas tree. If you can, think before you print. And here, it's not only about what we print, because sure, sometimes we have to, but it's also about raising the awareness of that, especially if you go to the office. I myself recently refused to copy, print another piles of documents, and I sent to Deutsche Rentenversicherung. Why? I am not going to do that, and why? Everything is clarified, and it was already done one time. That should be enough. And I terminated my contract with another company. And here again, I would like to also urge you to pay attention, to be very careful about the contracts you are signing, because it's very hard to delete your personal data later on. I recently had such incident with a corporation that I wanted to delete my account, and it was not easy. I was going back and forth with a company, and I had a feeling I'm not talking to the human being. I had a feeling I'm talking to Alexia, and they had a problem with deleting my account, even though they had all necessary data from me and they could check it, and they have other ways of checking your account. If you are there, they send you PIN for the cell phone, they can check it out. Really, they don't need my passport, they don't need my scans of the document to print an additional confirmation and send it, and again file amounts of papers, because frankly I don't know who needs that. Because if I want to delete my account, why do you need my password again? So that's another topic. Another one about how and what can we do in the situation we are. So if these are not politicians, who are they? These are, as a lot of us know, these are corporations, and there is nothing wrong when there was a new corporation and had good intention. The problem is that after a while it gets infiltrated by people who care less and less and less. And there was a woman that on YouTube channel, I forgot her name now, but she was in a perfect way explaining how these corporations get infiltrated by psychopathic personalities and get to the top of that pyramid of management, and they take over. And here I recommend you books of oh my god, I just forgot the name. I was just talking about it in the Polish language. It was about types of personalities, the red, green, yellow, and blue, and psychopathic personality, how to recognize it, how to deal with that. I need to check that for you. I'm so sorry about it. I hope it's going to come back to my mind in a second. What can we do about it? Also pay attention to the list of cosmetics, furnitures, clothes. And I myself, years ago, I didn't know about such corporation. I love to shop in Primark. Years ago I was going, and my friend, she was very pissed at me because I say, who do you support, Joanna? Stop. Don't buy there. But they say, yeah, but then, you know, we cannot have anything, we cannot have cell phones, like everything is the same thing. We are screwed in it, right? So how to get out? So here is just a little steps that we could do, we can do. If we can afford, instead of buying those furnitures or exchanging, I know people who exchange their furnitures every 2-3 years. Come on. If you would really like something that is precious to you, you don't value really what you're buying if you're exchanging it. They cannot be destroyed totally within 2 years, unless I don't know what you're doing with it. But okay, maybe I'm a little bit judgmental here. So furnitures, if you can afford it, get something that has really a meaningful for you. I know that in this moment there are probably less and less people who will create for you and design a new wardrobe. I get that, but there are ways, and some people can afford it and they still exchange it every 2 years. They change the idea. It's nothing wrong with having beautiful environment, but it's about to minimalize the use of the natural resources we have. I still like paper. I still like write on the paper. I also bought things in because we are forced to do it. I would not have a cell phone if I would not buy one. And they are designed that every 2 years they get broken. They are less and less efficient. The same with computers. So get a little bit more advice with someone who knows more about technology, and get the item that will serve you a little bit longer if you can. That would be my way. How can we sustain ourselves more? And instead of supporting big centers, shopping, why not buying from the local, from the new designers, someone who's doing it from their heart? Trust me on that one. Anytime I put a pullover that someone dear to me did it for me, I feel protected, I feel extra energy from it, I feel extra love from it. And the same thing is with someone does something for you. So these things have a meaning for you later on. You're not going to get rid of something so easily, and you are going to value it a little bit more. So support the local instead of buying in a big stores. For example, here is the Moroccan carpet. I got it in Morocco. It was very cheap. For you not going to get such a thing in Germany. And it was a handmade work. So you can imagine that someone spent, I don't know how many hours, days to do that, to create something so beautiful. And I really admire these people who still do that. Some of the workers, you know very well how little they are paid, and we, in a certain way, we need some of the stuff. Some people cannot afford it, I get that, but just a little bit to minimalize that. I probably still gonna shop one day in Primark, who knows. It's not about totally not using anything, it's about the consciousness to not excessively, or not buying things that you are not going to use in half of the year, or you just bought it because it was sales. So here you have the idea of the perfect marketing. When you're going shopping, we all are easily manipulated, because I studied the myself. I did different studies because I studied the marketing myself, and I had piles of books that I got rid of and I gave it to somebody else about it. You know, those types of personality, this red, yellow, blue, green, if you go to salon to buy a car, in order to make the seller will immediately diagnose you. Who are you? By the way you talk, by the way your posture, what you're talking about, what kind of questions you're asking, and within first 5 minutes this person will know how to approach you to sell you this product, whether you need it or not. And some of you may say, oh, it doesn't work on me. Considering those items, like little things, the cheapest things, it works on us. If we are going to the store on so-called automatic pilot, we are more likely to be affected by almost very subtle marketing that is in our background, because our eye picks millions of information instantly, and most of it goes directly to subconscious mind. We are not able to process it consciously, and we make decisions based on our feelings most of the times, and that's a little bit different than making the decision based on intuition, because you can ask yourself, what do I feel? But is it what my subconsciousness are giving me the impulse, or it is my intuition? It takes a while to differentiate those two. So that will be another one, considering how to help us all in the situation we are, in the consumption and in the political situation, who's really behind it all, how it looks like, and what can we really do in a small steps. If you have an ideas more about what can help us in those steps, I had a friend a few years ago when I was living in The Hague, and he told me interesting stories that time I had no idea about. So that time I had no idea about system of banking and how it is all designed to create a debt that you would never be able to pay it off, how the countries are forced into debt. I had no idea about those things that time, and I was listening to him like, oh my God, where are you taking this information from? I was really excited, and he joined some organizations, and he wanted to be an activist and do better things in the world. And after a few years, he dropped all that, and he told me that it makes no sense. He's just frustrated with it, and there is no really benefit in it, because even the corporation, that organization, let's say, that have a good intentions at the beginning, they slowly are getting infiltrated by those so-called psychopaths who there is an interesting part how they are chosen for the management position, and you already probably know that, but I would just repeat it, so just to remind maybe some of you that these people are based because they are not emotional in a stressful situation. And if you are able to make a rational decision, if you're not affected emotionally and you have a calmness within yourself, you are more likely to be chosen by other people, and you are admired for being calm, being peaceful. So it's very easy to take that lack of emotional part within these people as something that you control your emotion. It's not exactly the same. A person who is controlling emotions, who is working with emotions, gets emotional. If someone is not getting emotional every now and then in your presence, I would think about it. Of course there are spiritual masters, but probably even Yogananda, if you are familiar with Yogananda, at the end of his life, some of his students were telling that he had these moments when he was not in his bliss and connection with higher source of God. he was getting pains in his body. He was complaining. He was also experiencing everything what a human being is experiencing. So it affects us all on a certain level. It's just how he was dealing with that was probably different than people who were just taken over by emotional part. Some people were asking about this red line on my wrist, and this is my sentimental part. So it is in every culture. We had that in Poland, and it is very common that we had the red materials hang when the baby was born to ward off negative energies and so on. It is in Kabbalah, and I will invite someone, maybe will tell more about it. And it is also practiced in India, and you know that every culture has something, but this is very common because every culture has something different to ward off negative forces, evil eye, and so on. And this red line specifically is in Kabbalah. It's a lot of cultures have the same thing. For me, it's sentimental because I got it from my dear friend, and he brought it for me from India with other bits from Himalaya, from the tree, and I was very thankful because when it has additional connotation for your subconsciousness, it probably works better. It's also important who is giving it to you and with what intention. So that would be it about that line. And there is another thing that you asked me, how to deal with jealousy toward others and others toward us. This one is this is how I dealt with that. So anytime I'm getting jealous or slightly jealous, like, oh, I want this, oh, I want that, and oh, it's so good that somebody has it, and I allow myself to feel that. I share also, I'm very honest about it, because come on, who in our life, who never get jealous about anything? It's about how you deal with that. It's not about not feeling it, it's not about not having it, ignoring it, or getting rid of that. Just another emotion to get familiar with and see how you can work with it. So I started to ask myself, and I let it. I get sad, like, oh my God, I want that too. And then after that, I don't stay it any longer. That is necessary, because I ask myself the proper questions, which is what it took for this person to have it, to achieve it, to be that. What was the sacrifice? What was the effort? Am I ready for this? If I am, there is no more jealousy, because I'm going to do exactly the same thing. But if I am not ready for it, or I don't want to go through that pain, then I'm not going to do that. So recently also, the other way around, how to lead someone from the being jealous about you. Some people, that it's a funny story actually, because a lot of people are jealous about something that they don't know your reality, so they are just jealous about their imagination about you. For example, when I immigrated to the Netherlands, I had a very bad conditions, and I was sleeping on the floor, and I almost died there. But some people from Poland, they thought that, oh my God, she's lucky, she got away from here, she doesn't have those problems here. So you see, they had a completely different image about me with their jealousy about me. That's so funny later on when you look at it. And another one is about being artist. Being artist, it's not an easy thing. It's those of you who create, who know what it means, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Just for example, if someone recently would be jealous about what I'm doing, how I'm working, it's like I can just show you like what it takes. Like it's healing already, but I had to fall from the couch like 21 times, so you can imagine. And there is another thing: if you're jealous about something, or someone is jealous about you, the only cure, the fastest cure from that, cure transformation in that sense, because it's not about not feeling that, go and do it yourself. Get out, get up from that couch and get to work. Do it better. That's your best way how you can deal with the jealousy of yourself and others, because if others are doing it, then you can say the same thing. Do you want to do it? Do you know what it means to do it? You don't know. I will tell you what it means. Are you ready for this, 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 and this? Oh, okay. So do you want to do it? I can help you. Do it. So you can encourage this person. But usually, very often, most of the cases, when I met with those people, they didn't want to do it. It just was an empty talk. So that would be it for today. And I have one more request for you, because I already I realized recently someone was warning me and say, oh, the YouTube is doing, I don't know what is the case still, because I don't know how YouTube works. I still didn't study enough. But since there is some sort of a thing that some of you ask me, oh, you released the video but I cannot find it, I don't see it, I don't get notifications. So please, if you like what I'm sharing with you, if you think it has some sort of a value or inspiration for you, subscribe. And also click that button that tells you about the notification. And if you have someone, share with that video to your friends, so I can reach more people like us. And I'm very glad to hear anything news from you for the inspiration of both of us. So I am inspired by you, by your comments, by your writing me on Facebook, and the questions you are raising and confrontations you are, how do you mean that or that? Because then I can also improve myself and I can try to specify something better. And I appreciate that you are giving me the chance to sort of grow with you. Maybe it's on YouTube, and these videos are really not easy to do with me. Sometimes before I click that button here, I'm thinking like, oh, is it the right way to say it? I am still too much in my head, someone would say, and probably it's because of my my education. Some of the people are just so natural, coming from the heart, and they just tell you things instantly. And sometimes, because we think too much, and I also fall in that trap, they're like, oh, maybe I said this, maybe I said that, or maybe I shouldn't, maybe I should. So it is what it is. I decided to go with the flow, which is, if I make mistakes, I would try to improve myself, get better. And I thank you one more time for sharing with me about your thoughts, your ideas, your information. And if you have something important to say, share, or you are studying a certain subject, I don't care about certificates, you have it or not, but you study a certain subject for years, 10, 20, and you know something, please, you are invited. Share with me and we organize this so you can tell more. And together, let's see what best can happen. Thank you very much. Have a lovely evening, day, morning, whatever you watch this. Bye bye.